Hi, welcome to Crafted Sweetly. I'm Diana. Thanks so much for being here. For this video, I wanted to show you how to add a design to the edge of a book. So instead of doing a design where you're cutting the pages and then doing cardstock to color or doing the photo book art on the edge of the book, this is going to be strictly adding the design right on the edge. No cutting involved, no using cardstock involved. All we're gonna do is mark things and then color them. So it's a pretty, it's a faster design than doing the cut and fold, which here it would take 4,800, almost 4,900 cuts and folds to create a design. So I'll show you what I mean with this. Now I know I said there's no cutting involved, there's no cutting involved with the book, but what I'm doing is, so I'm using a graph design for this, the graph pattern that I created in Wonderfold. And what I want to do is I'm going to take this leading edge off of it because I need to get it in my slider guide so that I have this right there. So you'll see what I mean in 1 second. So I'm going to take about 3/4 of an inch off from this, and that's the only cutting that's involved in this. And now I'm going to bring up my book folding stand. And this is going to be, it's going to have faith, hope, and love right on the edge here. That's it. The book is going to be the same position here. It's not going to get expanded at all. So what I'm going to do is I'll just start with my first page. And this book has 304 pages, but based on this pattern, I'm skipping the first 37 pages. There's nothing, no design on it. And let me see if there were leading pages in this book. There were, and there were 3, 2, 1. So there were 2, 4, 6 pages that I counted that are leading pages. So if I'm starting on page 37, I'm actually on page 31 here. Okay, so this is where I'm starting my design, page 31. So let me put a piece of paper right there for 1 second while I get my slider guide situated. So this part I don't care about, so I'm gonna fold this away. You could also cut it off if you want, or fold it away if you're using this pattern in the future. And then I'm folding this so that I can mark things, and I'm folding it, this is the part that's visible in my book. So let's see, fold this in. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip this. Now I have an attachment to my slider guide. The slider guide, if you purchased one, does come with a regular kind of slider attachment. This one doesn't slide. This one's meant for kind of clipping this on the edge here. And if that's something you're interested in, comment below the video and I'll make it available in my Etsy shop. But you can certainly use the one that comes with the slide and just clip it in place. This one kind of helps so that it doesn't slide over. And I'm putting this down so that these horizontal lines butt up right against the edge here. So that's right there, I think. There we go. Okay, so that's the edge of the page. Now I am going to clip this so you can see that this is right against here, and I will clip this just so that it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, it doesn't accidentally fall off as I'm working on it. Okay, so that's my platform that I have my pattern on. Now I'm gonna get to my book here, to page 31. Zoom out a little bit here so you can see a little better. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm putting this underneath this page. And this is my first line that I'm doing right there. So I actually tried this pattern where I went straight with a Sharpie and marked it based on the design, and I found that it bled a little bit to the side, to the left. So I'm trying this method where I'm using a very fine point tip. I don't know what, it's extra small, it just says. So I am going to mark and then color in between the two marks. And you want the page to be right up against the leading edge here, because if you're doing it here in one place and here in another, your design is going to vary. So you always want to square it off against here and against the line that you're working on. So I'm setting that down, setting it here, and make sure this is straight this way. So now this is definitely going to always be against here. So I'm drawing the line. Okay, and then I'm gonna use my Sharpie to actually color in between those lines. So this one's a little tougher because it's just a little bit. Okay, and it bled to the other side, which I'm okay with because then the edge is colored. And you can mark technically the entire book with using just a simple pen or the thin pen, and then go back. So now I'm gonna cross this off that I did that line, just so I don't get mixed up. And next line is the blue one. The color differences is just to make it easier on the eye, so you know where you're at with your design. And that's it there. Okay, that's the coloring there. Done with that one. So it's gonna be either marking everything with the thin pen and then going back and coloring in between, or go as you go, kind of doing both. So I have both pens in my hand here, switching back and forth. This will give you a more exact design, I think, than just going back, just using this to color, because you know kind of where to start and where to stop. So I finished the book, and I actually did this one with the Sharpie in the end, and discovered that both this type of marker and the Sharpie was bleeding a little bit. So if you know of a marker that doesn't bleed, please comment below. Would love to discover that marker and add it to my stash of 15,000 other markers here. So one that doesn't bleed and it's actually nice and sharp. But I wanted to show you the book that's all done with the design on the side, and there it is. So it bled a little bit right on the edge, but you know, it's kind of even bleeding there, so it gives it almost looks intentional. But happy with the way it turned out. It's super easy to do, like you saw, just using the graph design to basically mark it with along the edge. So when you're looking at a single page, that's all you're seeing, which pretty much makes 0 sense. But then once you put all those pages together, there's the message. So comment below. Would love to see if you create something like this. Post it in my Facebook group. I'm gonna try other patterns and other designs doing it this way. I just really need to find a marker that works for this. And I did try the Sharpie Creative markers. It's not quite the same because I guess it has more of an acrylic feel to it, and it colors the top versus kind of coloring the page. It colors just the top here, so it's not really bleeding. I guess to that degree I want it to bleed a little bit as far as from one side to the other, but not this way. So the creative markers didn't quite do it for this project. I'm sure I'll find use for these for something else. But if you know of a marker that does not bleed but is nice and sharp, kind of like a Sharpie, no pun intended there, then please let me know in the comments. So another design idea, again, I'm gonna try some other designs and images and things like that and see how that works out. And if I end up with something that I like, I'll certainly be sharing that video with you. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next project.